All right, we're on task card number 5. So our diamond problems, just a reminder. You have two numbers on the sides here. We multiply them to get the top of the diamond, that's the product. And we add them to get the bottom of the diamond, that's the sum. Okay, so with our first question here, we've got a -8 m squared. So keep in mind that the only way to multiply to make a negative is one positive and one negative. Positive times a negative is going to give you a negative. So one of your factors positive, one of them negative. And so what you might want to write out are the different values that multiply to make 8. So numbers that multiply to make 8 would be 1 and 8. I know 2 times 4 is 8. And that's it. So now you are just looking for, okay, which of these values, when I place them into the diamond here, will give me a -2 as my solution. So could I make 1 plus 8 in some way, 1 minus 8 to make 2? Could you do that with the 2 and 4? And then just make sure you're placing them in the right location on your diamond. Okay, so that's question A. On question B, again, we're multiplying to make a negative. So we need a -24x squared. Remember, the only way to get an x is both of these need to have x on them. And then we've got as well, we've got a 10x. Okay, so multiplying to make a negative, again, we need a positive and we need a negative. And then you could start thinking of numbers that multiply to make 24. So that'd be 1 and 24. Could I add or subtract those in any way to make 10? What about 2 and 12 would be a factor of 24? What about 3 and 8 would be a factors of, or would multiply to make 24? And then 4 and 6, and those are going to be all of the options. So we need to know which of these can we place into the diamond to give us the sum of 10. Okay. Question C. We need to multiply to make a positive 12x squared. Two ways to multiply to make a positive. They're both positive, okay, or they're both negative. You got to look at the bottom to see what they're adding up to. Well, we're adding up to a positive 13. Okay, so we want both of these to be positives here. They're going to be positive x of something. So then we say, okay, well, what numbers multiply to make 12? So we always know 1 and that number multiply to make that. 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. Those are our factors. And you can use your multiplication table on your toolkit just as a reminder here. It's not opening up, that's okay. So now we just need to add to make 13x. So pick which of these two factors would be placed into the diamond to give us the proper sum of 13. And then for our last question, we've got -81x squared. And remember, the only way to multiply to make a negative is with one positive and one negative. Okay, so I'm going to put plus and minus, or actually it doesn't matter the order that we put the positive and negative, and I'll put plus over here. I've been keeping it consistent and negative. And then you need two numbers and they're going to add up to 0. So what that tells me is that they need to be the same exact number. One is a positive and one is a negative to combine to make 0.